Something strange just happened at Tesla. I received an interesting call from Tesla a few months ago. I did research on Tesla's offers for trade-ins. As part of this, I checked the trade-in value of one of my vehicles, a Model Y Performance. I was quoted a rather low 29,500 euros at the time. Fast forward to today, Tesla now offers me for the same vehicle 38,000 euros. So a 29% increase in 4 months. Has anyone else experienced this? So people are naturally wondering, does this make you wonder if Tesla is looking for used robotaxi vehicles? I don't think that's likely. Is it possible? Sure. But I think the most likely explanation is this. I think this is driven by stabilization of used vehicle prices we see in the market. As these become more predictable, Tesla can be more aggressive on trade-in offers. Higher trade-in offers is a new vehicle demand lever. This also predicts and indicates that Tesla is done with massive price cuts. It could also be a way to boost demand for new vehicles, because if you let someone trade in their used vehicle for a higher price, they are more likely to actually get a new vehicle and return the old one. Oh, and by the way, AJ's car has 28,000 miles, so it's not nothing. And just to be clear, AJ did not add FSD in the last 4 months, so 0 changes except adding a lot more miles. Oh, and AJ says, which is what makes us even stranger, he didn't request a quote for this last one. This came out of the blue, I guess? So if you are thinking of getting a new Tesla vehicle and you want to trade in your current one, submit a trade-in request right now and then wait for a few months. Maybe it's just how Tesla is trying to entice customers to get a new vehicle. Speaking of strange things, only 23% of the people watching this are subscribed? What? Subscribe if you haven't yet, please. We have good numbers from China, 13,000 deliveries. We are now 16.7% above the previous quarter, and we are just a little bit above the last year's same week in the quarter. The previous quarter is in blue here. We are clearly above that, but there's still a small gap between last year's quarter and this quarter. And James increased his estimate for this quarter by 7,000 vehicles to 420,690 vehicles. Gary calls the number solid, and what's interesting is weekly Model 3 registrations of 5.4 thousand were the highest since the Model 3 Highland launched last October. This is, I think, the best chart to understand what's going on. The current year is in red and the previous year is in blue, and you can see that clearly the gap between these two is closing, although it's slowing down, but it's still closing. And just so you understand how difficult it is to compete in China, you will see that if you look at the top 10, Tesla is the only one in the top 10 when it comes to foreign brands. And here in green, you can see how many Model 3s have been registered. Now, one reason could be because there were almost no Model 3 registrations here, so Tesla is just catching up to the demand, whereas before it was pretty stable. So I don't expect that to continue, but if it does, it will be great news. And one thing to keep in mind with all of these deliveries is that Tesla is running a promotion in China, 0 down or 0 interest rate. Keep in mind though that this promotion has been around for a little while now. We know that in Italy, EV adoption is not exactly high, it's actually pretty low. But Italy announced some electric vehicle incentives. Now there's a price cap of these vehicles, but you're eligible for 6,000 incentive. So that definitely makes a difference. And in Malaysia, the EV adoption is growing. It's still not that high, but it is now not 0. And this is good. Tesla has secured a new $150 million Megapack contract for a new battery in Australia. It will be the first 8-hour battery to be built in Australia. The South Korean government is reportedly investigating Tesla for infringement of the Personal Information Protection Act, such as personal information leakage or unauthorized filming of the people inside, I guess. I don't think it will really go anywhere, but it's something to keep an eye on. As predicted, it's happening. Senior manager of site acquisition and business development for commercial charging at Tesla was recently rehired. Here's what he says. 2 weeks ago, I was asked to return to Tesla in my previous capacity, heading up business development and site acquisition for Tesla charging, I accepted. He says, this quote by our former fearless leader guided me. You work at Tesla because you hope to have at least a small impact on our collective future, aspirationally to leave the world better for our children and grandchildren and their grandchildren by accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. And that mission is too important to allow any distraction, said Rebecca Tanucci. I wonder if there's more going on between her and Elon Musk, or was it really just her not wanting to lay off more people than what Elon Musk requested? When another biography of Elon Musk will be written, we will probably find out, because this was a pretty big moment for Tesla. I just posted another exclusive video on Patreon. This was just seriously misunderstood by many Tesla followers. Tesla gets closer to FSD launch in China. Chris Zhang says, I can confirm that since the spring update, some Tesla China employees' cars have had the words Employee FSD Beta Program registered, but no one can actually turn on FSD. It just says these words here. And this is getting really exciting. 2 ADAS operators are out driving Chuck's UPL today. Not sure what this means with respect to the release of supervised V12.4, but my suspicion is that they are validating a newer build that will go out at a later time. Since we have not seen V12.4 go out to customers, this seems a bit early to be validating any of the V12.5 builds. Elon Musk has been hyping V12.4. Right before each release, I tried to reset my expectations and I tried to not expect all that much. I found that's just a better way to experience new versions, because if you have extremely high expectations and then you get in and it's, let's say, 80% as good as you thought it is, you're disappointed. And then you sort of start to miss the whole big picture, because it's not about the new version, it's about the rate of improvement. In the meantime, look at how good actually Smart Summon eventually is going to be. This is, I mean, you'll be able to just tell the car, go park yourself, or come back to me, and it will just do it. Tesla is going to get raw access to a multi-billion-dollar Omni model that they can't afford to create themselves and stay profitable, which will be critical to solving self-driving. That is, of course, assuming that shareholders aren't stupid enough to fire Elon Musk. Omar is talking about XAI. Check this out. Where can we go from the current lane? A, turn left. B, go straight. C, turn left and go straight. Or D, turn right. There is a sign here that's a bit hard to see, but it says left lane must turn left. And it picked the right answer. And Omar was feeling sick, so it was nice for him to have FSD supervised drive him for 25 minutes from the parking spot to parking spot with 0 interventions. Yeah, I do experience quite a few no interventions drives when the conditions are not extremely difficult. And here's another boring video, 42 minutes in LA, no interventions. I'm gonna go for a 60-minute drive today, so I'm gonna report how that's gonna go for me. I don't record these because I don't want everyone to know where I drive and where I am, just for privacy reasons, because I take the same routes all the time. Here's another person showing how good FSD is. FSD did 99.4% of his driving this day. I remember Gary Black saying many times that FSD has to be 99.9% reliable or something like that. So we are, well, for some people, we are getting close to that level. And here's someone else, 98.6%. Of course, if you go downtown during rush hour, it's going to be a lot lower, but under certain conditions, it's fairly good. Tesla just published FSD supervised highlights. I sped this up to 2x speed, but yeah, you can see I never had any issues with things like this, like construction zones. It's surprisingly good. I also generally find that making turns like this is no problem for FSD. It sees everything. My only thing is, if you have to be on this specific lane to make a turn, sometimes it just chooses the lane a bit too late, or last moment it realizes, oh, I'm in the wrong lane, better change, and then it gets into a sometimes slightly dangerous situation, because cars can be going quite fast behind you and they have to brake quickly. And this is surprisingly good. There's a whole bunch of vehicles parked here, and of course it goes on the left lane a little bit, and then there's a car oncoming and it goes back to its lane perfectly on time. This one is a bit interesting as well. The only thing the main thing really that I watch out for FSD to do is, are you on the right lane? That's my main issue right now. The lane selection needs to be improved. Hopefully that has been improved in V12.4. And this is good. Check this out. So right now it's red. Now it's green for us. So we can go. But that truck is going anyway. And the Tesla vehicle stops. Lets this truck go. Good. And I like this one. Just look at how smooth the whole thing is. There's no jitterness. It just turns smoothly to where it needs to go. No hesitation, smooth. I also find it to be good with pedestrians, giving the pedestrians more space when needed. And think about how preposterous this is. A Tesla from 8 years ago today has more advanced self-driving capabilities than a brand new Mercedes-Benz with LiDAR and Drive Pilot. And Omar says if someone offered him a 2016 Model S or a new Mercedes, he's taking a 2016 Model S. Now, what I would do is I would take the new Mercedes, sell it, and then get a Tesla. I could probably get a newer Tesla then. Anyone remembers this slide? Second place should need a telescope to see us, Elon Musk. Tesla is running another promotion in China. Chinese Tesla customers who complete their vehicle deliveries between May 25th and June 30th will have the chance to win a free tour of Tesla's Fremont factory in the US with airfare and transportation costs included, Tesla announced. I think in China that can certainly work, although if Tesla did the same promotion in the US and told its customers, oh, you can go to China, we will pay for your flight ticket, I'm not sure that would work. Actually, I'm pretty sure no, that wouldn't work unless you are a Tesla investor and you want to see Giga Shanghai specifically. I have been to mainland China, by the way, before. If you do plan to go there, and if it's your first time, make sure you have someone with you. Only go by yourself if you know exactly where you're going and what you're going to do. And there has been a lot of talk about XAI. Here's what they're talking about it on CNBC.
Clearly some demand for XAI.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a few months ago, the Wall Street Journal and others were reporting a lot less money was being raised. And so just kind of showing that there's this huge enthusiasm among some investors to be part of that Elon Musk magic, right? The concern, I think, for some out there in the Elon world is if you're a Tesla investor, what does this mean for Elon Musk's kind of AI ambitions, his broader ambitions? You've got XAI, a private company, a separate company. You've got Tesla, a publicly traded company, a totally separate company, all under the kind of Elon Musk umbrella.
I guess that would depend on how much of the AI brain power was powering the valuation in Tesla right now.
Absolutely. The broader question I think Tesla investors are kind of grappling with right now is where is Elon Musk's ambition for AI? For so many years, he was selling Tesla as the idea of this AI company. It was going to usher in autonomous vehicles. It was going to have humanoid robots. And now he's talking about XAI as this huge potential for AI. We see it doing the same kind of things as OpenAI, but where is the AI future that Elon Musk is projecting, is envisioning, and which company is going to benefit from his vision?
It's interesting, Tim. You tie that back to this pay package. Over the weekend, we had Glass Lewis saying that shareholders shouldn't vote to reinstate his pay package that the Delaware court struck down. But you bring up the very wise point that this valuation, XAI story, is more closely tied to that than you might realize. If he doesn't get that pay package, it probably worries Tesla shareholders that he's even more likely to spend less time with Tesla and focus far more on XAI and the other components of the other things he cares about, like SpaceX.
Yeah, exactly. The pay package originally was done in 2018, and the board at Tesla was really concerned or really wanting to ensure that they were getting a fully engaged CEO at Tesla, right? That Elon's big game was being brought at this company. And now the question is he fully engaged, right? The board would argue, hey, they had a deal, they should pay out that deal. But some investors are clearly seeing this as a referendum on, hey, is Elon fully engaged at Tesla? Even Elon Musk has suggested that if he doesn't get 25% control of Tesla, he would be worried about doing AI and robotics at the company. And that worries some. Some investors see that as a signal that he's is in some ways suggesting he might take that technology elsewhere or those big ideas elsewhere, and Tesla would lose out on them.
But Tesla without Elon Musk is kind of hard to comprehend.
Absolutely. There's clearly a premium in that stock because of Elon. He and the company are in a lot of ways intertwined as a brand. But the other question kind of arises, can Elon go without Tesla? It is such a huge part of his fortune, his personal fortune. So much is tied up in that stock price for him personally and for his other companies. So it's almost a game of chicken here.
Here's what I think would happen if Elon's compensation package was not approved. Maybe Elon stays at Tesla, maybe he doesn't. Would he pay the same amount of attention to Tesla? Probably not, probably less. And his main AI focus would then move towards xAI. But would Tesla still develop FSD? Absolutely. Elon thinks that even without him, Tesla will solve FSD, and I definitely agree with that. Now, would they have the Optimus bot at Tesla then? Maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't. If Elon stays, probably we would. Would Tesla itself develop the AI capabilities for the robot to do everything it needs to do? Except for navigating the world, so basically taking Tesla's FSD software and putting it into the Optimus bot robot and then optimizing it so that it works for the robot specifically, which will still be quite a bit of work. Apart from that, I'm not so sure. However, is Elon Musk paying attention to Tesla right now at this moment? Absolutely. I mean, he got rid of the whole supercharging team. Now he rehired some of the people. He's cutting across all of the departments. So obviously he's paying attention to Tesla and things are moving forward. But I really hope that his compensation package gets approved. If you didn't vote yet until now, what are you doing? Vote. It's also interesting, the timing of this capital raise. I mean, Elon could have raised the money or finalized the deal after the shareholder vote. I think some people are going to look at this xAI raise and they'll say, oh, you know what? I was going to vote to reapprove Elon's compensation package and give Elon and the board everything they want. But now I think some people may look at this capital raise and say, I don't know. But then if these people vote no, they will assure that Elon Musk will spend less time at Tesla and that perhaps xAI will be a little bit more of a competitor than an ally of Tesla. Whereas if we approve Elon's compensation package, I am sure that xAI and Tesla will collaborate with each other, perhaps, hopefully, ideally. And I think there would be a very high chance of this happening. Tesla investing into xAI. I mean, what prevents Tesla from giving money to xAI right now? The board saying no? The shareholders saying no? I'm sure the shareholders would definitely approve. I am 99% confident of that. I mean, give xAI a few $1 billion, $2 billion. What does that mean to Tesla? Almost nothing. I mean, Elon raised $6 billion. Tesla could have just given this whole amount to xAI, really. And then Tesla would own a good portion of xAI. And also Tesla would be benefiting from extra talent at xAI, which Tesla itself could not attract just by itself, because there are some people that will not work for a big company because it's very difficult to, let's say, 20x the valuation. But if you start a company and let's say it's $1 billion in the beginning and you get stock options and now there's a raise and now the whole company is worth $24 billion, so what did just happen to your stock options? They more than 10x'd. So that is why xAI was able to attract some talent that Tesla never would have attracted. I think Tesla has some of the best talent in the world, obviously, but there are just some people that you will just not be able to get. And if Tesla and xAI can have a partnership, that synergy is going to be incredibly beneficial to shareholders. And I posted another video on Patreon. This was just seriously misunderstood by many Tesla followers. I think this one is really important. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure that you do. I have been posting quite a bit on Patreon, so if you're not a Patreon, you're missing out. So if you are a new Patreon that's joining today, you will want to watch some of these previous videos as well. Make sure to click the like button so that we can make sure that there's no shadow ban on this channel. There's another video from my other channel showing that it's only getting about half of the views it would normally get because my videos are only shown to about 50% of the regular viewers in the first few days. And then after the first 3 days, it does push it out a little bit more, but because it's no longer news, it's old, no one's interested. So I appreciate everyone clicking the like button. That really helps. And going forward, I'm only publishing the full daily news videos on this channel, not on the old channel anymore. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. Otherwise, YouTube may stop showing you these videos completely. Subscribing sends YouTube a strong signal that this is a channel you want to watch.